Brittany, please do the roll call.
And then you'll have to unmute.
Yeah, I'll have to unmute. I'll wait till he's like ready. I don't know if we're waiting on anyone else, are we? Mark Strout, maybe. Minutes just to read.
Hey, Bob, it's Joe Dever. I see John Boyle, there's Mark, and Dan is on the line as well.
Okay, so we're on there.
And we have Brittany and Sandy in the town hall.
Okay.
And I think we are good to go.
Okay, we got John Russell too. I'm looking for Jane to come on too, so we can always put her in when she comes in.
And I don't see Jane up there yet.
Okay. Sandy, are you guys ready?
Yep, we're ready.
Okay. Sorry about the confusion here, folks, but let's get going. I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law 30A and 20, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order ordering strict limitations to the number of people together in one place. This meeting of the Select Board will be conducted via remote participation. For the meeting, members of the public who wish to watch an open session portion of the meeting may do so by viewing on Dalton Community TV cable or via the Zoom link that was on the agenda. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be ensured the public can adequately access the open session portion of the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceeding as soon as possible after the meeting. All right, all those who are able to stand up, please, and do the pledge. And Mr. Dan, will you please lead us in the, Danesco, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pledge of allegiance to the flag
Of
of the United States of America
And
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and
and
justice.
justice for all.
Thank you. Can you do the roll call, please?
Yes, we have John Boyle,
Here.
Dan Esco,
Here,
Joe Diver,
Here.
Robert Bishop,
Here.
Mark Strout,
Here.
and our interim town manager, Sandra Albano.
Here.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't unmute.
All right, next we have the minutes from July 2nd and July 13th. I'll take a motion to accept the July 2nd minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the July 2nd minutes as submitted by Brittany.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion or changes? Okay, roll call vote. Mr. Boyle.
Yes.
Mr. Strout.
Yes.
Mr. Diver.
Yes.
Mr. Esco.
Yes.
Mr. Bishop, yes. Okay. Next, we have minutes from July 13th, 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes as submitted by Brittany, the July 13, 2020 minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any corrections or discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Dan.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Bob, yes. Okay. Public to address the board. This is the time when the public may address the board on any item listed on the meeting agenda or any issue or matter of the town. If you intend on addressing the board at this time, we ask you do the following. use our Zoom link or dial 684-6111, extension 28. Please identify yourself by name, address, or the company/institution you represent. The public address to the board segment will last no longer than 30 minutes. Please make your comments concise and try not to repeat statements made by others. Please address your comments to the board chair. Discussion or debate on any issue will not take place at this time. Questions on procedural matters may be answered by the chair or the designee. Please be cordial and respectful of others. If anyone wishes to be recognized when an agenda item is discussed by the board, please make the request at this time. This request may be granted by the board chair. Address comments to the board chair and be concise. Now, is there anyone out there that would like to speak on to any of the items?
Bishop,
Hi, Dan.
I'm available if there's any questions about item 11.
Okay, thank you. Let me just make a note of that. Anyone else? Okay. Did Jane Smith get on yet?
I don't see her, Bob.
Okay, we'll just go. Maybe she probably can't get on. Okay, the first thing's on
Sorry, Bob. I tried to call her and I sent her a text with the right link.
Okay, thanks, Becky. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, would
Yeah.
you consider moving item 10 to the top of the agenda?
They can't hear us.
Because we had some pretty lengthy discussions, and I know Mr. Baroli is standing in the parking lot waiting for the good news.
Yeah, let's make them sweat. No, we can put them on. Okay, we'll go to number 10. Let me just get my papers out.
Richard Hall or something.
Okay, we all received a notification from Chief Riello. Let's see, and from Ken Walto. It's like, I hereby recommend for your ratification the appointment and promotion of Reserve Police Officer Anthony Baroli to permanent full-time status as effective as of August 17th, 2020. Officer Baroli graduated from Bridgewater State College with his bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 2017. He is also a graduate of Berkshire Community College and Wacona Regional High School. Officer Baroli's resume and Chief Riello's recommendation are included for your information. Thank you for your consideration of this appointment. And does anybody have any questions for Mr. Baroli?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the appointment recommendation from Chief Riello and Town Manager Walto.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. A motion made and seconded. Okay, any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm familiar with Mr. Baroli. He's going to be a fine officer for this town. He's well known throughout the community. He's going to be a good community police officer.
Beautiful. I've heard really good things about him, and I know his dad really well, and I know Anthony a little bit, and I think he'll do a fine job for us.
Yeah, I second and third that. I've had a couple of interactions with Anthony, just kind of chatting with him along the side when we bump into each other, and always friendly and cordial and professional. So glad to have him on board.
I believe he's headed to the police academy fairly soon also, so
Yes, sir. Next month.
next month.
I'd also
Okay.
like to note that Officer Baroli has volunteered in the community as a coach, my son's basketball teams in the past as well.
Oh, cool.
Very much.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Dan?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. Welcome, Officer Baroli.
Thank you all for your confidence. I appreciate that.
Welcome.
All right, good luck out there. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we go to item 6. The Census Bureau response to 2020 census. We got a note reminding everybody in town to fill out their census if they haven't. All the towns and cities get money based on the census. So if you don't fill it out, you hurt the town. So please fill it out, okay? And if not, we don't get a non-responsive, then somebody will come visit you. And we don't want to take a chance of losing out the money. It says, as a reminder, the federal government distributes approximately $2,500 per person per year based on the census numbers. So if you haven't done it yet out there, please do so, okay? And I also have a stormwater contract here with the Berkshire Regional Planning. And this is for their survey that we have been talking about, doing their testings and whatnot. It's 3 pages long. Do you want me to read it all, or does everybody have a copy of it?
I have a copy.
Okay. Now, a motion for acceptance.
Motion to accept as recommended, Bob.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bob, yes. And I'll sign this and give it to Judy tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, now we're going to open as the sewer commission. And we're going to set the sewer rates. And Sandy sent out another sheet this afternoon. Did everybody get the sheet with the 4 columns on it?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
Sandy, do you want to respond to this and tell us what you told me this morning?
I sure will. We have, our sewer is built up with receipts and expenses. And it's a zero balancing account where you're to get estimated receipts in. The estimated receipts is in the budget and the expenditures are in the expense budget. And in the last 3 years, our revenues have not come up to the level that our estimated receipts have been budgeted to. So I'm suggesting that we have a slight increase of 5% so that we can increase our revenue to what the expenditures are, thereby eliminating a letter to Mary Jane Handy, the Director of Accounts, explaining why we are estimating our receipts, but it's not coming up to revenue. So this is just simply so that we cover our revenue for our cost expense and make the budget be balanced.
Makes sense. Okay, is there any questions for Sandy?
What would the average increase for 5% be on a sewer bill annually?
It would be approximately $20.
$20.
About 19, actually.
19. Okay.
And you can see that at the top of the spreadsheet.
Any further questions for Sandy? Okay, a motion to raise the sewer rates by 5%, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we increase the sewer rates by 5% as recommended by the interim town manager.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. A motion's been made and seconded. Okay, roll call vote. Mr. Boyle?
Yes.
Mr. Strout?
Yes.
Mr. Diver?
Yes.
Mr. Esco?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop, yes. Okay, thank you, Sandy, for your explanation and work there, so,
Thank you for your vote.
okay. All right, we're gonna close as the sewer commission. Okay. Now, next we have 2 petitions. Petition 569, 190 Hubbard Avenue.
Bob,
Yes,
I'm sorry, did you close as sewer commission?
yes, I did.
Okay.
Do you need us to go
Sorry, I
back and
didn't hear
open
you.
up? John, do you need us to go back?
You're not talking to me, are you, Bob? Talking to John Ruffley?
Yeah, I'm talking to John Ruffley. I'm sorry, John. Mr. Ruffley, do we need to go back?
Yeah, he's on mute.
Okay. Can somebody unmute him?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Hang on, I'm having some problems. But I didn't have anything to add to it. I just didn't know if you closed this sewer commission.
Okay, we didn't know if you had another question or anything, so we're gonna go back in. So, okay, we'll just continue forward. Okay. This is location 190 Hubbard Avenue. Made to the Zoning Board of Appeals for all parties interested in the administrative appeal and variance of Ray Robert for the Dalton Building Commissioner's enforcement of the zoning bylaw, 350-28A, transitions requirements at 190 Hubbard Avenue, Dalton, Assessors Map 124, Lot 9, Zone PIDD, Planned Industrial Development District. Do we have any concern as a board on this? I mean, as in the Conservation Commission, we have a lot, but that's a whole separate thing.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'm very familiar with the special permit petition for this subject property, as it has come before the planning board on numerous occasions in the public hearing process. And the variance he's looking for is essentially to legalize his a building of a fence inside the buffer zone, or a block wall, concrete block wall, which isn't specifically prohibited per our bylaws. So, based on the petition and the letter from his attorney, I can't really see any reason to object to the appeal. I really don't have any further comments other than to say it seems like a reasonable request. But certainly that'll be up to the Board of Appeals to decide.
Does he have a 50-foot buffer that's completely open?
No, there's vegetation in the 50-foot buffer, but he created a kind of a concrete block wall that does go into the buffer a little bit. Now, and I don't have those finer details of the exact measurements and dimensions of that, but essentially, I don't really have anything else to say other than it seems like a reasonable request, and I think that it'll be, certainly up to the Zoning Board of Appeals to decide.
Okay. All right, thank you, Dan. Anyone else? So we'll have, I guess we'll just leave this up to the Board of Appeals, if everybody's in agreement to that.
Mr. Chairman, traditionally, in this situation, we have a motion to make no recommendation.
Okay, you making that, John?
Sure.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes?
Joe?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bob, yes. Okay. Next, we have a petition for Richard Riccardi at 227 Main Street. His premises is located at 227 Main Street, Dalton, Mass., Assessor Map 115, Lot 34, zoned R1 residential. The application is to convert an existing non-residential building to accommodate one or more dwelling units pursuant to section 350-22A5 of the Dalton zoning bylaws. Okay, anybody want to comment on that?
Sounds like a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll entertain a motion for no recommendation from the board.
So moved.
Okay, Motion's been made, second. Is there any further discussion? A roll call vote. John?
Yes?
Joe?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
And Mark?
Yes.
And Bob? Yes. Okay, the next one, the Brownfields cleanup. The former Dalton, alternates for the former Dalton Hardwood. Did everybody get the handout that was sent around? Did everybody have a chance to review this?
Yes, Bob.
If we didn't have enough to review this, enough time to review it, I was gonna recommend that we put it off to our next meeting so we can discuss it. You wanna discuss
Sorry,
it?
yeah, so I have Tom Belosi on here to, explain the document.
Perfect, go for it.
So I'm gonna turn it over to him and let him explain it to you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Tom.
Hi Becky, how are you?
Good.
Hi everyone. Yes, my name is Tom Biolsi. I work with TRC Environmental. I'm the environmental consultant that's helping the town on the former Dalton Park property. I'll briefly explain. So this document that you have, the Brownfields analysis of cleanup alternatives, it's a document explaining the proposed cleanup, which essentially involves, in a nutshell, removing an underground storage tank that was discovered at the property in around the southeast corner of the former garage. So I'm sure most of you know this was the former location of the Dalton Hardwood property. It operated from roughly 1950 to the 90s when it ceased operation, and then the town acquired the property through tax foreclosure in 2014. Our company has worked on this property to do some assessment through EPA Brownfields funding through the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission. And this proposed cleanup is going to be funded jointly through the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission and a Brownfields Revolving Loan Fund as a sub-grant to the town, in concert with both funding mechanisms. So as part of using the Brownfields revolving loan funds, it requires, reaching out to the public and regarding the proposed cleanup. This site is fairly straightforward in that the cleanup involves removing the underground storage tank, first pumping out the contents, excavating around the underground storage tank to allow its physical removal from the ground, cleaning it, having a contractor physically removing the tank and the contents off the property. Our company, TRC, would collect soil samples from the hole that's remaining in the ground and then backfill that hole with clean material up to the surrounding grade. The alternatives, as required by the environmental regulations, requires evaluating 3 alternatives. One is do nothing, which kind of obviously wouldn't really achieve anything, so that's automatically thrown out. That's a matter of course to evaluate the do nothing alternative. The second alternative that's in the document is what I mentioned of taking out the tank, us collecting samples from the soil. There's also a few, I think it was 4 various small containers inside the former garage of various petroleum related constituents like lube oil or hydraulic oil in sealed containers to remove those as well. The third alternative also adds on excavating 3 feet of soil along the road. That alternative is not chosen because we collected soil samples along that road and did not find any contaminants, any petroleum related contaminants or lead along the in the samples that we collected. So the document as written recommends the second alternative, which is taking out the tanks, pumping, cleaning, removing the tank out of the ground, removing the 4 small containers from the garage, backfilling the hole with clean soil, and that's it.
Okay, I have one question. What happens if you get down there and and you don't have enough money in the grant if we got contamination down below the tank.
If we find contamination below the tank, then the contamination would have to be reported to the state, and then we would come back to the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission and the town and evaluate what funding sources may be available to continue cleanup.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Now I have one question.
Go ahead, John.
Excuse me. If the board agrees, pretty much the obvious alternative, it has to have the soil removed with the funds available from the grant. If you started it in a couple of months, a couple of weeks, what would be the timetable for completing the project and making the land free for utilization?
Well, as the plan is written for taking out the tank, the alternative 2, that will be done in a day. That's what is proposed to be done in a day, 2 at most. And then if we don't find any contamination when we take the tank out of the ground, then no additional assessment nor any additional cleanup recommended. So then physically work would be done after the tank is taken out and the hole is backfilled. Our company would just write up a summary report stating what we did in our findings.
When will you be able to start this project? Does it have to go out to bid now? Is there a bidding process?
No, Becky can weigh in. That's already been gone through the process. The town's already has a contractor on board. So once the 30-day public comment period of this document expires, which is September 3rd, town can authorize their contractor to get out there and do the work. So we're proposing hopefully to get out there, early September and do this work.
So by mid-September, I'm sorry, Becky.
No, you're good.
Mid-September, if it goes well with the people that plan on evolving possibly a park up there, they can be again working on land and etc.
If I may speak, I would probably say toward the end of September, we would know, because we submit our soil samples to an off-site analytical laboratory. We need also sufficient time for the results to come back and us to review them.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Becky, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I sent the notice to proceed out to Maximilian last Thursday or Friday, I think. So the contract's already been signed, and they're ready to go. So we want to get them to start it after September 3rd and be done before the 18th so they can collect their soil samples. So we're in good shape.
All right, thank you for handling this. Nice job.
You're welcome.
All right.
I don't know if you need a motion or whatever, but I'd like to get moving on this as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do a motion, please,
Thank you, Mark.
I'll make a motion, we proceed
with option 2.
with option 2.
Option 2.
Okay, second? Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
And Bob, yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Tom.
No problem. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I will drop off the call now, if that's okay with everyone.
Okay.
All
So I'm
right.
actually going to leave as well. Do you guys need me for anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Have a good
Have a
evening.
night.
Okay, number 11, Street Smart Grant Pedestrian Flashing Sign and Crosswalk. Now, there's been a lot of movement on this lately. Dan has announced we had procured a grant for this. Dan, do you want to update us, or Sandy update us on this?
I'm gonna leave it to Dan.
Okay. Is Dan on mute?
No, I was. I'm all set, Bob. Thank you. Excuse me. There was a grant program put out by the state called the Safe Streets Program. Excuse me, I just got to get it up. That we put in for a grant to to pay for the construction for these lights. The main work on the grant was done by Fuss and O'Neill, the people we had hired to architect and design the program plan. With work from John Ruffley and myself, we filled in some information that they needed. Excuse me. We were requested to fill in more information, was sent to them, to the Mass DOT, and they accepted our application, and we were awarded just $70,500 roughly. So that would help pay for the program to be put in. There's some requirements to that we're trying to address. One is we have to have the work started and pretty much completed by a specific date, but we're waiting for a permit to be approved from Mass DOT in Lenox. Latest on that is they sent two questions to the town that need to be answered by the town engineers. Steve Severa, representing Fuss and O'Neill, contacted them today, and there's going to be some sort of a meeting Friday at 2 o'clock. We believe it'll be a Zoom meeting that John Ruffley was going to attend, as well as Steve Severa to answer the questions that they have about the engineering project, the drawings and such. After that, I don't know how long it'll take to hear about when the permits would be issued, if they're going to issue them.
Okay, how long does it take to install those, Dan?
I don't know. We'd have to hire an engineering firm, a company to come in and do the work. They're fairly simple because they're going to be solar powered lights, but I don't know how long it would take to put it in. Maybe John Ruffley could answer that question.
John, can you answer that?
Yeah, I can tell you the highway department installed the signs without a problem down by Nessicus, the same style crosswalk signs, solar lights. That's what kind of amazed us, that they were putting us through all this time, due to the fact that, you know, they let us install them the last time, and they went up in a day, pretty much. Well, two days with the concrete, but they go up pretty quick.
Beautiful. Okay, I can't wait for those to get in. That's awesome. Thank you, Dan, for all the work on that.
It is based on them issuing the permits. They're aware we have the grant, and I'm sure they'll want to talk about that. Well, they're going to talk about what we need to do to complete the application Friday.
Okay.
Just,
Thank you, Dan.
yeah, just one question, Bob. Just clarity, and great job by everybody in getting that grant dollars in there. But I just want to make sure who has the ball, who's leading this through for the town. Dan, is that you or is it John? Just kind of want to make sure that if things need to be escalated, we can respond to them pretty quickly, or if things get stuck or not. Because I know it's been a tough road with the original request.
Well, I'll be available to answer any questions they might have because of my work on the application and such. But we're talking about the engineering end of it now, so Steve Severa will represent the town.
Okay.
And I think that with him, it should probably be John, because if they start talking construction, stuff like that, that's nothing that I have any expertise in.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Thanks.
I think after Friday, I'll take the ball. Dan brought it to this point, and appreciate everything you've done, Dan. It's you know, it's been huge for us. So yeah, after Friday, or Friday, we'll have that meeting, and I'll take the ball from there.
Great. Okay. Thanks, guys.
And I just want to add one more thing. We already received that grant money, just so you know. So I'm hoping that doesn't stop the permitting process, because we'll probably have to return it if they don't permit it.
Oh, no. Hide that check, Sandy.
It's already in our, there was not a check, it was transferred right into our account.
Ah, perfect. Close it out so they can't get it.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other questions or comments on this?
No, just to let I posted on through Mark's Facebook page, and to say that residents are happy, that's an understatement. I think they're absolutely thrilled to see this progress. So, great thing for the town. So again, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen. Dan, thank you, John, Ruffley, for doing all this, and Becky and Sandy, we appreciate it. Okay. All right, next we got the transfer brush area. John Ruffley, you want to update us on this? You made a lot of people happy, young man.
Yeah, I think, we've been keeping it open. It hasn't been the best situation, but we're gonna deal with it until we hire somebody. The ad went out in the paper, so in the next couple of weeks, we're just gonna hope to get somebody in that position, and then it'll be open right till winter.
Okay, and there's no sticker requirements, correct, to bring the brush in there, or leaves, or whatever?
I think that was gonna be, unofficially, there's no sticker requirements. We're gonna check registrations just to make sure they're town residents. I think at some point, the board will have to make it official that that's what we have to do, but that's, with the storm last week, a lot of debris, and it's just a matter of keeping, like you said, keeping everybody happy and getting rid of all their...
Would you like us to vote on that tonight about the sticker thing? And
Mr. Bishop,
yes,
that was my intention of having this placed on the agenda tonight, was to have a vote on that where we could waive the, residents wouldn't need a sticker, and they could be checked to make sure that they are residents by registration. No charge to drop the brush off.
okay, is that a motion?
That's a motion, sir.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion.
I'd like to amend that motion real quick. Any resident who bought a transfer sticker just for the brush pile should get a refund.
Yes, I agree.
I'll amend my original motion to include that.
And then second.
One problem with that is the sticker price was decided by negotiations of the contract with Casella.
Yeah, Casella doesn't manage a brush pile.
I know that, but that's where the sticker price was set.
Right, if I'm not using the trash or the recyclables, just using brush, John, I shouldn't have to pay a sticker fee. That's the motion.
Well, that's the way it was set up, Joe, by negotiation. That's all I'm saying. Do whatever you want.
Could I weigh in on that real quick?
Go ahead, John.
I mean, I just know the money went to Casella. I don't disagree with you, Joe. I know the money went to Casella, so I just don't know how town or the resident will be able to go back and tell Casella that they, if they were going back to the town would probably hand them the money right back, but they're gonna go to Casella, and Casella's gonna be like, you know, we have your money. You might, I think as a board, you might have to write the Casella a letter or let them know somehow that, to refund these people.
Right, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, just so you know how it works. I don't know.
I don't think the brush was in the contract, so they're charging them for something that may. I have to go back and look at the contract. John Will, do you know offhand if the brush area was in the contract?
Well, it was included as the recycling, the throwaway of your trash, and the brush pile was all grouped in under one sticker price.
John Russell.
If I just may say something else, what I would suggest, and I agree with Mark in his initial thing, but checking registration is a big pain. At some point in time, perhaps next year, the town should institute a separate sticker for a minimal cost, $5, $10, whatever, and for just the brush pile. It would serve two functions: easily identify the car as being a brush pile participant, and also, if the person now decides he wants to go throw away trash and recyclables without a sticker, you will have that sticker on his car, identify him as a brush pile participant only.
I would agree with that.
That's a great idea, John.
Great idea.
So, as far as, well, we're talking about two different things now. I don't know what we would do with the contract. I don't know. I don't even know if Casella ever signed the contract. I'm not sure.
Hey, John Ruffley, is there a lot of people that, or you believe that just signed up, that bought a sticker just for the brush pile? Or I'm guessing a majority of people that bought a sticker were for the trash.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, when we opened up this year, the couple guys that I've had manning it have told the people that they need to go buy a sticker. So there may be a handful, but, rather we'll ever hear from them again. You know, it might have been a one-time thing, but yeah, probably a handful, not many.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to weigh in, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Dan.
I agree with Mr. Ruffley. I don't think that the town really has the authority to refund what people have already paid for a dump sticker. We could recommend it and write a letter, but I don't think we actually can authorize a refund. Second, I agree with Mr. Boyle's recommendation that we consider a separate sticker for the brush pile in the future.
Okay, let's do that in two motions. Let's do the original motion, we'll vote on that, and then we'll vote on starting next fiscal year to get a little sticker for $5 or whatever we want to set a price at.
So moved.
Okay.
Second. Can I just say, Mr. Chairman, instead of next fiscal year, it'll take us all the way to next July, that we try to institute a separate sticker in the springtime when you get your rush of people.
That's probably a better idea. So what do you want to do, March 1st?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, hey, Jane.
Jane, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Jane. She's calling.
Mr. Bishop, while she's getting that done, I'll make a note that on the town website, it does say compost and brush area sticker required.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so it's in the works.
I'll make sure that, that changes. I'll have them, just say registration or resident require or something. We'll figure it out.
John, can you have them change the hours on the website too for the brush pile?
Yeah, I sent a memo in to have that done, so that's in the works as well.
Perfect.
Just so you know, what I did to make it a 20-hour position was the brush area won't be attended the last hour of the transfer station. So if the transfer station's open till 6 on a Friday night, the brush area will technically close at 5, just to keep it a 20-hour position.
Okay, that's fine. As long as the hours are
I think you should all be able to hear me now. Is that accurate?
that's a lot better.
All right, great. So I have the contract here in front of me, and, you know, it excludes non-acceptable waste. So what that means, what's in the contract includes solid waste, which does not include unacceptable waste. It includes bulky waste, recyclable, and so I believe that I just from me looking really casually at the contract, I don't think that it's going to be a problem for Casella for us to do as you guys had recommended of having like a separate sticker. I do not believe that it's in the contract from, you know, just a really close first look. So I just wanted to make that point, which has no impact on the way that you guys discussed it or voted on. So.
Thank you, Jane.
Okay. Just back up, guys. Okay, so the original motion is to keep the brush pile open as John Ruffley indicated with just proof of purchase, or proof of residency, I'm sorry. And then starting March 1st to institute some kind of sticker for like $5 or something. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
Mostly,
that on the-
I would say let's not stick to a particular dollar amount at this time, but that we want to proceed with a sticker approach.
Okay. Okay, so the motion reads, for the record, to open the brush pile with the new hours and proof of residency, and then March 1st, we will institute a sticker. The
Yes.
price to be determined.
Yes,
Okay, is there a motion?
that's the motion. So moved.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And Bob, yes. That's good. John Ruffley, thank you for all your work on that. Jane, thank you for all your work on that.
You're welcome,
It
thank
was
you.
all done.
One quick addition to this is if any resident who purchased a sticker strictly for the brush pile, if any board members know of these residents, we can recommend that they reach out to Casella and just consider that the board may want to advocate on their behalf at some point in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan, I'd be happy to do that. So I guess that's a great comment and note for Sandy and the town management. If you get those items forwarded to, I'll be happy to help coordinate that.
I do have a question. Is that in the contract that the brush pile requires a sticker?
No, that's what Jane was referring to, is that she sees it as excluded from the sticker.
Okay.
But I've seen a complaint of a resident that went to the brush pile and was told they had to have a sticker. Just use the brush pile, and they weren't using the transfer station for any other service.
Well, our website said sticker required, as Dan Filio noted as well, so it seemed like it was town policy at the time.
John Ruffley's gonna get that changed, correct?
Yeah, I'll handle it.
Okay, John, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything more on that?
Mr. Bishop, may I ask a question that's waste related? And it might just need to be put on a separate agenda item for the next meeting, but it seems like we're on that thread right now.
Sure.
And that has to do with household hazardous waste.
Oh, absolutely.
What's that?
Absolutely.
So in the past, it appears that Dalton has worked with the town of Springfield or town of Pittsfield to do a household hazardous waste day. It's my understanding that Pittsfield will not be doing a household hazardous waste day this year, but we are getting residents requesting a method for getting rid of their household hazardous waste. So with the board's blessing, I'd like to look to see what some options are and be on the next agenda. So, because there is a budget item to help people with this. And I was just thinking doing a little bit of digging to see what our options are so that we can provide something for people this fall. Is that okay with the board?
Yeah, I'll put it on for next, September 14th, that's our next board meeting. Okay?
Okay, great.
I'll notify you earlier if something changes.
Yeah.
Well, is September our next meeting, or I thought we had one next week, not to get off topic here.
We only had one for August, Joe.
Okay.
Thank you, Jane, because that was going to be one of my items for the future agendas coming up, so that's...
Thank you, Jane.
I was going to have put on there, so thank you.
Jane, while you're here,
You're very
can you give us an update on the COVID?
Absolutely. So I have to tell the board, I really do apologize. I have a farm, and when I get home, sometimes the farm sucks me up, and I really apologize for being a party to this meeting. I won't make a habit of that. So as far as COVID, there have been some changes. One has to do with the sports. They restructured it so that it's actually kind of complicated. I've been in touch with the CRA and the school district, and they understand what the requirements are, and I feel like Dalton's going to be in a good position for coming up with something so that the youth and other amateur sports in the town of Dalton will be able to play and still meet the state requirements. And we'll see what that's going to look like. Certainly by the 14th, we'll know what the CRA and the town or the Central Berkshire are going to do to accommodate those new requirements, which also came in conjunction with things like the maximum size gathering is on outdoors. It used to be 100 people, now it's 50. Indoors used to be 50, now it's 25. And so what's happening is that the rates in August were creeping up to double what they were in June. So while they were still very low and, in most of the country would be admirable numbers, the Department of Public Health, and I'm sure the governor just wanted to keep it that way. So there have been some additional requirements made. I have been working very closely with the school district. They are having a meeting on this Thursday to determine kind of reevaluate what position they're going to take as far as whether they're going to keep it remote for the first 2 weeks like they had voted on previously, or, whether or not they were going to pivot based on some new recommendations by the governor and the commissioner of education. So it continues to be a lot of information. There will be information going out to the restaurants. There were some changes in regards to bars that might impact some of the things that are happening. Certainly at some of the, I don't know what the civic clubs. And so just trying to help them understand what the perimeters are and be successful in trying to, still be able to keep things moving, but comply with the limits. So that's kind of just a lot of information. I had started to do a website update, and then suddenly 3 of the things that were on there all changed. So it's hard to keep up with a lot of the information, but you should probably, or there will be an update probably this week that will look, so that everything will look a little bit different, and hopefully that will help the residents. So does anyone have any questions for me about COVID?
Yeah, how is Dalton's numbers? Are they increasing or flatlined or decreasing, hopefully?
Yeah, so Dalton's numbers have been interesting. They're pretty flat. So I believe that the total has been 16 since the beginning. What we're finding with Dalton is that the numbers that we do see, you can tell clearly where they're coming from, and then you'll have a familiar a family cluster. So if someone might, so we had a case, a family traveled from somewhere else, and then, I believe 3 of the members of their family ended up testing positive. And so, while that's not ideal, it's still better than when you have somebody who has a case that you have no idea where it came from, or in other words, community spread. That really is the red flag. We have not seen any community spread. It's been pretty clear where the cases in the last month have come from. As you might know, that the governor now requires if someone goes out of the state, outside of low-risk states, they're required to register with the state. So we have finally gotten access to that information. And I believe that there was 21 people since the beginning of August that have gone out of state, registered, and came back. Most of those people are getting tested as a form of protection. When they get back, they're going ahead and getting their COVID test so that they can test negative.
Perfect. Anyone else have any questions for Jane?
It looks like John might.
John Boyle?
Roughly.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I have a quick question if I can, Bob.
Yeah.
We know where we're at with the basketball courts in town. I've noticed it's been a big question. Most of the city of Pittsfield, most of their courts are open. A few surrounding towns, basketball courts are open. Just wondering what your thoughts are there, what the board's thoughts.
I can share what the guidelines from the state are, and then if as a basis, if that would be helpful.
That'd be huge. Yeah.
Okay. So, basketball is considered a higher risk sport because of the one-on-one aspect, and so there's really no mechanism right now for basketball in order to have the hoops open. It has to just be risk level 1 items. So we're talking drills, shooting. The problem with basketball, courts are that it's hard to turn them on and off, right? So like you might have a basketball clinic where they're doing the low risk sports. They're, you know, staying away from each other. They're not doing 2-on-2. But the hard part is that once that hour-long practice happens, then there's just a basketball court. Other communities are finding, Pittsfield I know is one of them, I believe. Another community is also having problems with after hours, you know, it being a point of congregation for young people because, you know, it's understandable why that is. But the concern is really just the nature of basketball. So I feel like if there was a way to turn on and off the basketball court, then there might be able to have them open for structured activities. But without modifying the game, it's not allowed currently with the regulations or the guidance.
Okay. Thank you. That's fair enough, Jane. We'll wait until it's legal.
Thank you, Jane.
Oh.
Okay. Anything else for Jane? All right, thank you, young lady. Appreciate all your help.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, next we have items for future agendas. Anyone have any?
Yeah, I have one, Bob, and this is coming from the Green Committee. We'd like to do an educational session for the board on a grant program called Community Choice Aggregation 3.0 program. And we were approached by a company called Local Power LLC, which did some great work out of UMass. And one of the principals of Local Power LLC has significant experience writing regulations and legislation for the state of Massachusetts and California. It's a pretty complex kind of thought process around how to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but the idea is that a municipality can become their own generator of electricity. The grant program here is not really to make a decision or do anything, but it's for Local Power LLC to use our municipality of Dalton to learn what the opportunities and what the potential is. And then from that review, then we can determine what, if anything, we want to act on. And Richard is here as my sidekick from the Green Committee. I always defer to him as well. And apologies, Mr. Chairman, I thought we had a meeting next week. There was one on the calendar, but it looks like we can't move it. We'll move it to September. Our next meeting will be September. So I just need to loop back with the committee and make sure that timeline works. Our intent is to not only educate the select board, but also the planning board. We have engaged Becky in the first round of discussions. It was pretty long and winded, and if you're not an expert in this, it really needs to dive down. So I want to loop back with Becky when we get the detail, the summary detail of it, kind of layman's terms for everybody. And then meet with Becky again and bring it back to this committee, the planning board, and then collectively, and certainly with Sandy, her new role of interim town manager, when that kicks in next week, updating Sandy. And if all the leads are on board, maybe this might be a good grant program to engage in and learn something. It would cost us nothing to do that, and we may have some benefits down the road with the increase in electrical cost, but our cost would not go up according to this principle from Local Power LLC. That's it I have for the summary. Richard, I turn to you to see if I missed anything high level.
Is that on what is that on?
It's on the upcoming meeting.
No, Joe, I think you covered it.
Dalton Town Government.
Okay.
But one of the only thing I did know is, as you said, is pushing it into the next select board meeting in September. That might be pushing it for the grant. We'll have to circle back on that.
Circle back on that. Yeah. And just for the board, one of the other intents is make sure you have all the material well in advance so you can digest it.
This says it is, they say it isn't. I have no clue.
And Bob, I'll communicate with you what the time is for that presentation. We might need like 20 minutes or a half hour, might be a little bit long. And Sandy's going to get you up to speed on all the details on this as we get the rest of it together. So.
Okay. I've just informed that on a, what was it, My Town Meeting?
Yeah.
.org, it has a select board meeting for August 24th.
Really? Then we'll take a look at that, and we may be meeting on the 24th.
We could use that meeting just for this purpose. We would be ready for that, Bob. So,
Okay, let me check that tomorrow when I go over to town hall.
Okay.
We'll probably end up having a meeting on the 24th, or 28th, or whatever it was. 24th. Okay.
yeah, and then the other thing is just I need to bring forward the recommended committee members of the Waste Management Recycling Committee that we approved.
Will that be ready for the next meeting?
Yep.
Okay, I'll put that on there too.
Hey, Bob, that meeting that was scheduled was an automated scheduling, the second and fourth.
So, Sandy, because we usually only have one in July and one in August.
Right, but it's not been taken away, so I guess that is what has to happen.
Okay, let me look at things and see where, we'll decide tomorrow when I come over. I'll
Okay.
look at things, okay?
Uh-huh.
See what we got. Can everybody make it if we have one next meeting?
I can.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's just go ahead and plan it for next Monday, okay?
It works.
Yeah, because we can clean up some stuff too.
Bob, this is Jane. Would you like for me to have information about the Household Hazardous Waste Day at that time as well?
It'd be great if you had it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
'cause
work on that.
we're getting a lot of inquiries on that. Okay, anything else for future agendas? Okay, remarks of the select board, anybody?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may, I'd just like the board to join me in a big hats off to the town clerk's office and her staff, Michelle Blake, and taking out of retirement, Jane Gingras, and dealing with getting out these write-in ballots. There were hundreds of them, if not thousands. And they worked through the weekend, Friday and Saturday, and I believe they got them all out because there's a time-sensitive date of getting out and returning them to the town clerk for by election day, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow. And they did an outstanding job. Everybody I know that requested them has gotten them in the mail. And again, hats off to Debbie Mary and her department.
Yeah, they had a ton of them over there. I was there today and they were still telling me about how they had to work over the weekend, so. Yes, congratulations to them. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I want to take a moment and just respond to Mr. Boyle's letter to the editor in the Eagle. I think there's some additional information our residents should be aware of and all the facts on the table, because I think it was a little, misleading a bit. But just let me go ahead and help clarify, or at least make these remarks for the board and for the residents of Dalton. And I'll be submitting this to the Eagle, but they usually don't print things this long. So anyways, so the letter submitted to the which was published on Thursday, August 13th, his letter is an attempt to inform the residents of Dalton and call into question the actions this board decided over the last few weeks. This is my attempt to provide the rest of the information for Dalton residents. Regarding the interim administrative chief, Mr. Anthony Riello, Chief Riello's rate of pay for the 6-month contract is based on an annual salary of $110,000. This would be $55,000 for the term of the contract. This rate is fair as Chief Riello's experience provides tremendous value to the town of Dalton, and this rate was approved by our town manager, Ken Walto. A few highlights from Chief Riello's experience. He started his career in 1978 with Pittsfield Police and then promoted through the ranks over the years, led multiple programs during his tenure and appointed to chief in 1997, which he served up until 2007. 2007, he was appointed to chief in Falmouth, Mass, where he served 5 years prior to his retirement. So that's 15 years of experience as chief of police. In 2015, Chief Riello was recruited by Suffield, Connecticut as the interim chief superintendent of police. He led that department through significant changes, including engaging the department to redefine their mission and strategic plan, which highlighted community policing. Chief Riello's education background includes a bachelor's and master's degree. He was past president of Massachusetts Chiefs of Police, Western Mass Chiefs of Police, and Cape and Islands Chief of Police Association. In addition, Chief Riello was an adjunct professor from 1988 to 2000 at Berkshire Community College. So for the 6-month engagement, $55,000, that's really a bargain with a great background, experience, and leadership. The Dalton Police has experienced significant changes as a result of multiple internal investigations, which began when a senior officer did not respond to a well-being check, although the prior 12-month average for the department was a response within 8 minutes. Regarding comments about Sergeant Furlong, Mr. Boyle stated Sergeant Furlong had the position as acting chief for several months. This is actually not a true fact, as the town manager never made the appointment recommendation until July 27th, which the board did not approve. Mr. Boyle also stated that Sergeant Furlong performed the duties admirably. Although I agree Sergeant Furlong is a great police officer, but as mentioned in the previous board members, there have been certainly management and executive missteps. There's room for improvement, and now is not the time to promote based on the status quo. With a 3-1 vote, the board decided not to move Sergeant Furlong to acting chief. Now is the time to come together and move forward. With a one-on-one with Sergeant Furlong and directly discuss the other concerns I have, there is clarity. I'm absolutely confident that Sergeant Furlong and all officers of the Dalton Police Department have an opportunity to receive some great mentoring and administrative leadership from Chief Riello as the department moves forward. Residents of Dalton should be confident that this board has taken the appropriate steps in the best interest of Dalton. Residents have approached me with their concerns, and after a brief discussion, they understand and appreciate the steps we're taking. This is the best direction for Dalton. The board made a decision based on all facts and circumstances. The vote was 3-1 with Mr. Stroud abstaining from the vote. It's time to move ahead and ask Mr. Boyle to cease from this activity because it's a negativity upon the board and the town. As last meeting, disparaging fellow select board members and threatening legal action with the DA and the AG, so I'd ask for that activity to cease. If not, I would have no option but to make a motion to censure that and future board members. Thank you for that time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I have a couple things to add to that too. Mr. Boyle's letter to the editor gave Chief's Code base pay and the sergeant's base pay, but that's not with their benefits. They were left out. And I remember negotiating sergeant's contract one year, and Ken Wallow told us typically the sergeant makes more money a year than the chief. And all these things that happened with Chief Code being paid out, Chief Riello's salary, they're all no $1 going to the town taxes. No extra money is going to be raised from town taxes. It's all from internal budgets. Okay, Chief Riello is being paid out of the police chief's budget, and Sandy will be paid out of Ken's budget when her extra duties are there. So, and also, Mr. Boyle, I want to ask you why you felt you had to go to the town attorney to check on the appointment of Chief Riello when he sent you back pretty much the same thing I told you August 5th. So I want to put an end to this tonight. No more of this. We're done. We're moving forward. I'm not putting this on the agenda anymore. We got to move forward. We got so much things going on in town right now. Sandy and I had a meeting with John Ruffley last Friday. There's a lot of things poor John needs, and there's a lot of other things. Dan's got a lot of projects that he needs help with. We got to start looking forward. This is history, and like Joe said, it was a 3-1 vote, and we need to be respectful. Okay, that's all I have to say on that.
Mr. Chairman, there's no other remarks for the select board. I just want to raise that Mr. Tom Bennett is on the line, and unfortunately I didn't see him raise his hand earlier, but he is here for a public comment. And we can come to that at the end of the agenda or whenever you think is appropriate.
Okay. I'm going to have to think about that for a minute. We'll do it at the end before I do the updates. Okay.
And in the meantime, if we could ask Mr. Bennett to mute himself, please. I think he's creating some background noise. Thank you.
Yes, Sandy, okay, perfect. Okay, like I said, for the select board updates, Sandy and I met with John. John had some stuff that needed to be done, so we're getting that going. Sandy will be coming on full board after her vacation. She's given up part of her vacation today to be with us, which I appreciate. We're going to be going shortly into executive session to approve her contract, hopefully, and then we'll come back out. But other than that, let's see, I met with a few other people today. I met with the building inspector about his hours and stuff like that. So I'm going to be at the town hall from 9, I say to 11, but I was there after lunch or during lunch today. And you know what? If people want to come in and hash over things, please do. That's what we're there for. We're not trying to duck anything. We're not trying to hide anything. Right now, we're trying to reorganize and get the town moving forward, and we're going to do it. Because number one, we're Dalton Strong, and we're going to do this thing, okay? All right, Mr. Bennett, what do you have?
Tom, you should be unmuted. There you go.
Mr. Bennett, what do you got?
Yeah, his Zoom is cutting in and out here, Bob. Just got another chat message from him. Don't know what the issue is.
Okay. Well, we have to come back to the next meeting. We're not gonna. I want to know what he wants to do beforehand, anyways. That'd be a good thing to do.
Okay.
Just let him know. We'll take his meeting next. We'll take his what he has to say next meeting if it's appropriate. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. This leads us to our announcements. The town hall is now open during usual hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursday. Masks are required and social distancing must be observed. The transfer station, new FY21 prices. The first vehicle is $115, the second vehicle is $40. Bags for a 30-gallon bag, which is the large one, is $4. For a package of 10 is $40. A 1.5-gallon bag, which is the small one, is $3.30, and a package of 10 is $33. For a complete price list, go to dalton-mass.gov and click on the transfer station button. Now this is important. The new hours for the compost and brush area. Tuesday to Wednesday, 2 to 5. Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And John Ruffley's going to get that on the town website. Okay? And we probably should post it over there also if we could. The Dalton Library is now open 12 to 5 on Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 to 5 on Tuesday, and 12 to 8 on Wednesday. Anyone in a high-risk population may schedule a time in the morning to come in by themselves with no questions asked. Lobby pickup continues for anyone who would rather not enter the building. Call 684-6112 for more information.
Mr. Chairman, if I may?
Yes.
Under the bags price, it's a typo. It says 1.5 gallon. It should be 15 gallons.
Okay.
Just for future notifications.
Okay. That's a pretty small bag, Dan. That's like a baggie. Okay. Yeah, okay, 15 gallons. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you. I declare an open session have made an effect on negotiations with non-union personnel.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn to executive session in accordance with General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A2, to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel, interim town manager, and return to open session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote. Mr. Boyle?
Yes.
Mr. Kidder?
Yes.
Mr. Esco?
Yes.
Mr. Stroud?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop? Yes. All right, we'll take a 5-minute break and hook up on the Zoom link for executive session, please.